So the wording that you use, you know, when you do the sun salutation, that's what you're wondering?
Yeah, well, I mean, just because it's so quick, you're holding your breath on that plank coming from knee down, foot down. You know, it's a lot of
Yeah,
movement.
so you probably wouldn't call that every time.
Yeah.
The people who know to do that will do that.
We'll
People
do
who don't,
Yeah.
don't. Yeah, not everyone's going to be able to do that. But let's go through, if you guys can go through it, we'll probably do 2 on each side, and I'll just use, you know, little different words. Because getting the words to teach it is much harder than you think.
Yeah.
I remember struggling so hard when I started teaching this sun salutation, just getting the words in your mouth. So a good way to do it is just start out with inhale, exhale, just teaching it that way, and then adding one more word in. So we'll do it that way. So we can inhale and exhale, palms together. Inhaling up, arching. Exhale, reaching forward, standing forward bend. Inhale, right leg back. And left leg back, hold the breath. Exhale down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, right leg forward. Exhale, left. Inhale, reaching forward and up, arching, and exhaling, arms down. Beautiful. So I'll add a couple words. Inhale, exhale, palms together in prayer. Inhaling up, arching back, hips forward. Exhale, reaching forward, standing forward bend, head into the knees. Inhale, left leg back. And right leg back into plank. Exhale, knees down, hips up, chest down. Inhale, coming through to cobra. Exhale, downward dog, heels down, hips up. And exhale, or inhale, left foot forward. And exhale, right foot forward, standing forward bend. Inhale, reaching forward as we come up, and we'll arch back, hips forward. And exhale, standing. Beautiful. Inhale and exhale 1. Inhaling 2. Exhale 3. Inhale right and retain 5. Exhale 6. Inhale 7. Exhale 8. Inhale right 9. Exhale 10. Inhale 11. And exhale 12. Beautiful. And then just the breath. We'll inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale left and retain. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale left. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. So the words can, we did pretty simple wording here, so it's probably a good kind of model to follow. But choose whatever words you like for each pose. I think it's good to start with the inhale, inhale, and then you can add words from there. So maybe it's just inhale and exhale, so you can do that, or exhale, palms together, or exhale, prayer, or it could be any words that you like. What do you use?
Exhale, prayer.
Exhale, prayer, yeah. And then, so for the next one, you inhale, arching, or inhale, arms up, hips forward, or any words that you want to use. But it's just, when you're practicing, you just go through over and over again so that the words come out of your mouth so naturally, just like when we're talking about whatever our favorite thing to talk about. We don't think about the words, they're just there naturally. But when we're starting teaching something new, they're not there naturally. And in order to teach it smoothly, they have to be natural. We can't have a pause to think about what words. So it's like, it just comes out. And then, exhale, standing forward bend. So you can start with something as simple as inhale, exhale, and then add in kind of 1 word, 2 words, 3 words to that. And then eventually you'd be able to talk through the whole thing and not notice it. Yeah. So what other things about teaching sun salutation? I guess when you're doing sun salutation, it's good to do, if people have never done it before, if it's pretty physical, if most people are pretty physically fit, I'll demonstrate it first and then have them do it. Because if you see something, then you can understand it. If people aren't very physically fit at all, typically I won't do that because they kind of think they won't be able to do it. So I'll just go through it really slowly, not worrying so much about the alignment, and just talk through each pose, hold each pose for a few breaths. So actually I don't demonstrate it when I know people are going to have trouble doing it, because my sense is it's going to kind of be off-putting. We can never do that. And then they are going to look different. So there's less emphasis on what it looks like and more emphasis on how to do it, or how to breathe and move. Whereas if people are physically fit, like if you guys came to yoga the first time, I would demonstrate it. This is what we're going to do, and then you do it. Yeah, any questions on that? How long did it take you to learn how to teach the sun salutation?
How long did it take me before I felt comfortable? Oh, I don't know. It's hard to say. I just, the way I learned was just by doing it every morning, but I was flipping through the sheets, like the whole Hatha flow for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, if we do it, every day for a month, we know the poses, we know how to do it, but then we have to start repeating the words.
It's the language of how to teach it, which is difficult.
Yeah, so a good way is just as you're doing it, just repeat it in your mind, or actually say it out loud. Inhale, exhale, palms together. And then you can just teach yourself that way, and then you'll get the words. Because getting the words to sun salutation particularly is tricky.
Sometimes I feel I forget which I've done right or left. Sometimes even though I just moved my right leg,
absolutely,
I forget. And it's like, so keeping track of that right and left is something you have to be really hyper-conscious about.
Yeah, especially if you're teaching and you're not doing it.
Yeah.
So there's several ways to deal with that. I guess kind of the backstop way is you just say, okay, inhale, leg back. And most people will know, like if you totally forget, most people will know what leg you're on. And then you can take their cue. But that's kind of not the ideal. But if, rather than calling the wrong leg, you're probably better off just letting them lead, whichever, and then whoever, 9 people are doing the right leg is probably the right leg you're on. So what I do is I keep track on my fingers. If I'm doing it with a class, I'll cross my left hand, my left fingers when I'm on my left side. I'll cross my right when I'm on my right. Sometimes I'll do that when I'm teaching, if I'm just standing and walking around. I more typically do right, left, right, left, right, left. But you'll figure out your own little body things, because it is tricky. You're walking around, maybe you make an adjustment and you just totally forget. But then if you have your finger crossed on the right side, you're on the right side. And that everybody will come up with their own.
Right.
I don't know if you could cross your toes, or maybe you just always keep your right hand touching your hip, or your left hand. It could be anything you wanted to do. But yeah, right and left. And while it's maybe not critical to do right and left exactly right, I mean, you're not going to cause injury or do any real damage, but you're going to kind of lose credibility as a teacher if you really have no clue what side you're on, if you're always messing up. I mean, we all mess up sometimes. I messed up today even. But in general, it's good to just be consistent. You're the teacher, so you should know what side people are on. So figure out whatever method you need to do that. And then same thing, counting. You want to have at least an idea of how many you've done. doesn't matter if you've done 5 or 6, but you should know if you've done 6 versus 3. Yeah. And then you want to do rights and lefts equally. That's a good question. Salutation to the sun. You know, there's many variations, there's many versions, and this is one of them. Pretty classical version. So it's great if everyone can learn, you know, this exact sequence as we've been teaching. Each breath, each movement, you know, pointing the toe, knee down, every single thing, you know, just the way it was done traditionally. And then from there, if you know, you can modify things. But for this program, we learned this one. Yeah, kind of.
Foundation.
Or not.
We tried.
Yeah.
It's really different, yeah.
You know, there's good things in, you know, trying to learn, just as a methodology of learning, of, you know, if you try to stick to one thing and not leave creativity in there, you can kind of learn a little bit differently than if you add in your own creativity. And there's, you know, if you add in your creativity, then it's more yours, but maybe you're kind of missing some of the experience as well.
It's good to learn the traditional sequence, I think.
Yeah. So that's the sun salutation.